Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today's video is going to be a foundation review. We're going to be reviewing the new Hourglass foundation. I finally decided, I'm going to splurge on this foundation because I keep seeing promos on Instagram from Hourglass, like with the foundation. It looks so beautiful on the models. I had to finally just splurge and give it a try because I don't own any Hourglass foundations up until now. I have found it really hard to get the right shade, and I do feel that with this collection, getting the right shade seems a lot easier. We'll do two types of application, brush, sponge, and I'm going to also sneak in the new Charlotte Tilbury concealer into this video. It's sort of going to be like a new base products video from these two brands, and we'll kind of just do it all in one video. We'll do a wear test, we'll apply them both differently on each side, so we'll do brush application versus sponge application, and I'll give you my final thoughts, of course. That is it for the intro. Let's get straight into this. Guys, here we go. So typical Hourglass packaging, and this is a pretty hefty price tag. Here in Canada, this one goes for $75, I believe, which is a lot of money for a foundation, in my opinion. I don't know, it's more than Dior. It's kind of like almost Chanel realm, so it better be good. Like, this foundation better be amazing. All right, what's it supposed to do? Well, it's supposed to just sort of like blur the skin. It's supposed to last a really long time, 16 hours, which I think is a more reasonable testament than saying like something like 24 hours, because you might wear 16 hours. You know what I mean? Like, if you're putting it on at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7, going to work, then going out, maybe you could wear it potentially 16 hours. So that's interesting to me. We'll definitely do maybe a recap because I'm putting this on around 12 o'clock noon. So I should be able to come back on after the kids are in bed around 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock-ish, and then give you guys just how it wore, just basically a little bit of a update at that point in the day. Transfer resistant, humidity resistant, it's supposed to have sort of like this blue light protective effect as well. No sunscreen in this one, which I'm totally fine with because I think, like most of us, we wear sunscreen usually as part of our skincare routine, so I don't feel the need to have it. Plus, it just avoids any potential of it being a chemical sunscreen, which I like to avoid anyways, and I do find that most foundations, when they put a sunscreen in there, it is usually a chemical sunscreen. So that's good. I'm glad it doesn't have it. So yeah, Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. Let's give it a shot. So I have it in the shade 5, which is a neutral undertone, and I would really go in and swatch. Some of the lighter numbers, like even 4 warm, was darker than even 5 neutral, but it was just a different undertone. So I find Hourglass foundations super tricky to find my correct shade. I couldn't even find my correct shade in the Vanish stick, so I never even purchased that foundation. It's not in my arsenal. Their tinted kind of thick moisturizer. All of their foundations I really didn't try because it was hard to find a shade match, but I think I got it. So shade 5 for me. I'm just gonna give you guys like a big swatch on my face just so you guys can see kind of the swatch really concentrated. I don't know if that's going to help you guys, but let's just see. So that's shade 5. It is a nice neutral undertone. I think it's going to go well because I did wear this foundation yesterday, and I feel like as soon as it's blended in, it just sort of like doesn't oxidize, but it just creates a good color match. I don't know how to explain it. So that's shade 5. It is a nice warm to neutral undertone. And let's go ahead and put this on. I'm going to use a brush for one side and then a sponge for the other side. This is a Sonia G, one of her like liquid cream brushes, jumbo base. And all I have on my skin is just some moisturizer. I'm wearing the Rose Ink moisturizer, which I've been really enjoying, you guys. It sort of has these like capsule beads in it, just like her tint does. And I feel like it just melts into the skin. It's still lightweight. But anyways, that's not what the video is about today. But it's a good moisturizer if you're looking for a really lightweight moisturizer. So that was about like half a pump. I'm thinking I might put a little bit more just kind of in the center part, just because my nose is not even covered. So quite a bit comes out even with a light pump. So I don't think I need that much, but let's just put a little bit more on. I'm not sure if you guys can tell how it's just sort of like blending into my skin. Okay, so that's just a really light layer there versus nothing. So you can tell some of the glow did get mattified. It is definitely more of a natural finish. My natural skin with the moisturizer obviously is more glowy and dewy, but it just evened things out, and I feel like it gave just like a really nice, yeah, blurring effect, evening out effect. So far, so good. Next side, we're just gonna go in and use a sponge. So it is about a full pump. I don't know, just because the pump is pretty full on. And I'm just using an Eco Tools sponge. I normally don't apply my foundation with a sponge. I normally finish off my foundation application with a sponge. So I usually do fingers or brush, and then I just top it off by bouncing the sponge on it, just to sort of sheer it out. So we'll see how I like it with like straight up sponging. Sorry if you hear some like animal snoring in the background, but we have our puppy Bruno. He's wearing a cone right now and I don't want to bug him, but I think I introduced him in a different video that I have to post still, but I'll definitely introduce you guys to Bruno. Oh my gosh, I love that too. It blended in really well. I feel like I had time to blend. It wasn't like, you know, difficult to get the product just evenly dispersed. And I feel like it maintained some of the glow to my skin by using it with a sponge. That's usually expected because it is obviously damp, and it just sort of like, I don't know, shears the product out and just creates that little bit of extra moisture boost in the skin. This side has maybe a touch more coverage, a little bit more of a natural finish, but you can still see there are some glowy parts. So I really, really like that. Just super natural. Like I have no idea how else to explain it. It just literally looks super natural on the skin. There's coverage, but yet it looks like skin. So let's do just a quick close-up. It didn't really obviously camouflage any of my more dark imperfections like around my nose or under my eyes, but that's okay. That's what concealer's for. But overall, it evened everything out. It's a really good shade match for me. And so far, so good. It's not tacky. I feel like it just kind of adhered to the skin. No stickiness, no tightness. Oh my gosh, it's really, really good. I usually have quite a bit of texture and potential dryness here, and it's not adhering at all. Just kind of sitting on top of any of my texture and stuff. So I really, really like it, you guys. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to leave the lights a little bit dimmed and put some Charlotte Tilbury concealer on top. This is the new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Concealer that just came out. The doe foot applicator is really nice. Not a ton of product comes off. This is in the shade, I believe, what is this? 4 Fair. Looks quite light because my skin on the hands is a little bit tanned. Anything too much darker, and just don't think it'll have that same sort of like brightening effect that I feel this concealer is meant to have. It's supposed to just really be flexible on the skin, camouflage, brighten, just adhere to the skin really naturally. And not a ton of product comes off, so you have to almost like go in twice, one for each side. I'm going to use a sponge on one side and then a brush on the other side. So sponge will just continue the trend on this side. It really has a beautiful dewy quality to it. I really like this concealer. Wow, that did a really good job. Oh, I wish I didn't put it on this side because then you could have seen the difference. You can just rewind and see pretty like how dark my under eye circles usually are. Good. Next side, let's go in and just blend out with a brush. I don't like using a brush. I know that in her videos she does use a brush for this. It'll definitely maintain a little bit more, see, the coverage is even more intense with a brush. You're not kind of, you know, shearing it out as much. Still blends out nice. I'll just kind of tap my fingers just to sort of push the product in. Because again, with a brush, I just don't feel like it has the ability to really push it in. So that's definitely going to give you a little bit more coverage. But you know what? This just gels with the skin and I don't know, just becomes really one with the skin. And I don't usually like having a lighter shade of concealer under my eyes because I feel like anything with light, it enhances, right? Like when we highlight, we add light to the top of our cheekbones. That's to enhance our cheekbones. And usually with really dark circles, you want to hide them. So I usually tend to use something the exact shade of my foundation or skin tone. And this one is a little bit lighter than what my foundation would be, and it still conceals. It's really, really beautiful. So my skin looks very perfected, very much ready for putting on a beautiful face of makeup. Set it just a touch, just a very, very minimal amount of powder, nothing crazy. That's what I normally do. I have to do that, especially in my T-zone. And then I'm gonna put on the rest of my makeup and come back with the final look. So full makeup look is on. This is actually a full face of the new Natasha Denona, my dream collection. So click on that video next if you haven't seen it. I'll link it at the end. What are my thoughts on this foundation? Well, so far, so good. All the other products that I used applied beautifully. It didn't shift, it didn't move, it didn't adhere to any of the other products. Like it didn't make it hard to apply. So far so good. I will come back and give you guys an update at the end of the night. So maybe I won't do a full outro yet. I will see you guys probably in about 7 hours or so and let you know my final thoughts. Okay, so a little bit of update already. I'm on my cell phone right now, but I just noticed like this is an hour and a half, 2 hours in. Oh, my sweet little Bruno with his cone. Bruno, come here. Come say hi. Come say hi. Okay, so while it looks really perfected and I'm just kind of in front of a window here, I am noticing it's like a lot more coverage than what I'm used to. And so I'm kind of noticing it really just like creating quite a bit of cakiness here, and it's really probably hard to see. The window is really... It's so windy outside. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yeah, it's just kind of creating a bit of cakiness, I feel, here. And then, I don't know, it looks a little bit more full coverage than what I'm used to or what I kind of like. But it is very perfecting in photos and stuff like that. Like it's coming across as really, really well done, cohesive makeup. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update about an hour and a half in. And I just feel like, yeah, it's kind of settling. Like as soon as you put on your, the rest of your makeup, any kind of products on top of it, just kind of, I don't know, just creating a little bit more cakiness. Anyways, okay, I'll come back probably at the end of the night. Okay guys, I'm back. So it's about 9:30 or so. I've been wearing the foundation for over 8 hours. I feel like I gave it a decent amount of wear. I went on a walk with Bruno. I was hanging around editing, so constantly touching my face while editing a previous video. Hung out with the girls, fell asleep with actually the girls just now. So I'm kind of a bit disoriented because I fell asleep with one of them. So I do feel like I've given it some decent amount of wear. It's worn really well, and I feel like the appearance of my skin with the foundation looks better as it wears. I'm getting a little bit of shine in my T-zone, which I normally do being combination skin. With those extra oils, it just looks a little bit more dewy, youthful, and fresh. That first check-in was like an hour and a half into 2 hours into the wear, and it looked a little bit cakey in certain areas. And now with the oils kind of peeking through, it just looks a little bit more natural, a little bit less makeup-y, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm not getting a ton of like gathering anywhere. I feel like that top lip area, it's not as like cakey. And it's worn pretty evenly. It's a bit greasy in those oilier areas, but nothing unmanageable. And if I really wanted to say I was out somewhere and I need another couple hours of wear time, I could definitely just kind of like touch it up or blot it a little bit and it would look really, really good. So do I think this foundation is amazing? Do I think it's worth the $74 Canadian price tag? I'm gonna have to say up front that probably not. If you don't have a super long wearing foundation in your arsenal, then this would be a good one to maybe try out. But I feel like it still wears a little bit heavier than one of my favorite long wearing foundations, which is still the DIOR Forever Matte Foundation. That one just wears similar because you're still getting that really kind of satin to natural finish upon initial application. The DIOR one just feels lighter. It's just that little bit more skin-like right off the bat. And it doesn't feel as heavy or makeup-y either when you first put it on or in the first few hours of wear time. The price, I think, point of the DIOR one is actually less than the Hourglass, which is crazy to me. With Hourglass, you know you're getting cruelty-free. So I do feel like there is that benefit of going with Hourglass, just knowing that they are a very, very cruelty-free brand. Whereas DIOR, I don't know, I should look into it. Like, are they cruelty-free 100%? I actually don't know. So that's the only foundation I think that I would compare it to in my collection, like the closest in terms of wear time and so forth. So yeah, otherwise I think it's good. I think taking a look at it, it looks okay. It looks decent for that much wear time. That's it for today's video. I need to get going because I'm gonna start blabbering in my like slight tiredness. That's usually what happens, is I just start to go over and over in circles. So yeah, hopefully this helps you guys. Make sure to subscribe before you go today. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm gonna actually link the DIOR Forever Matte Foundation review that I did next for you guys, so you can maybe see and compare how it kind of looks on camera and my thoughts on that one as I filmed it. I'll talk to you guys very, very soon, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye.